Jack, the guy, man. Welcome, welcome. Also, tough. Interesting. But welcome. I hope you're doing well. That's an interesting first message, but it is yours uniquely, so enjoy it. We'll be getting started in just a minute. I am FNAF. Excuse you. We are FNAF. I think that's what you meant to say. We are FNAF. We. Whoa. I do like the Gaslight District. How did you know? Who told you that? Who hath told you this knowledge? Very good, very good. Maybe you saw my reaction to episode 8. That was very fun. I also did a reaction with Nightland. That was also very equally as chaotic. Man! Also another man within the username. Wait, who's your favorite Gaslight District character? Here, let me show my face. Let me transition over here. Let's see if this works over here. Alright, hello. Hello. If you notice that I'm slightly red, it is because I am sunburned to crap. So, that is the reality. I'm in pain. It's fine. So, wait, so who's your favorite Gaslight District character? Oh my gosh. All of them? Can I just say all of them? They are all, like... I need more of the show to really determine, I mean, Breadhead is, of course, an obvious, but, like, Melancholy and Mel, like, Mel is great, and I love, what's the dad's name? Yeah, they're all actually good. That's kind of the hard thing, is, like, I don't know them all super duper well, but all of the little that I have seen, I love them all dearly. Ken, yes. Yes, big fan of Ken. I love the complexity of the characters, like, even in the first episode. I want to see how it looks a little bit slower paced, and really gets to flesh... Oh my gosh, I was talking to somebody, and they're like, yeah, I can't watch the new pilot because I'm mad that they haven't released the second episode. And I was like, fair. That's fair. Because, yeah, it is a long way to wait. But I get it. Animation takes a long time, guys. Alright. Oh, I hope everyone is doing well. Doing well. Very good. Don't forget to like the video. Also, I was checking my analytics, and this is a crime, guys. Apparently... 78% of you guys aren't subscribed, but 98% of you guys are new? Shame. Subscribe, guys. I know a lot of you guys are just coming in, and this might be the first time you've ever seen my content. Although, I was seeing that, like... Dude, it's crazy. The streams that we've been doing have been blowing up. Like, these Yap streams, just me talking and casually just spilling my guts about FNAF lore, has, like... really been popping off, and I want to thank you guys so much for all of your support. It genuinely means like a ton to me. Like, seeing those analytics, like the numbers I don't really care about. This is for fun, and it was really cool to be able to stream a lot more last week, right? And then I went on vacation, so I wasn't able to stream for a whole lot, you know, during that time. But also a little bit of an unfortunate update. I probably will not be able to continue to do the VR streams as far as like the FNAF Secret of the Mimic VR, due to just how technically there's just a lot of issues with it, right? I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, it's just very not fun to stream. And I don't mean that not streaming, like, it's not fun. That's kind of the wrong word. I would say that it's more so just cumbersome, right? So I'd rather just kind of enjoy that on my own, where I can have it a little bit more, take my time with it, you know? Hello, welcome, Sheila. I think, is that correct? I do not know how to pronounce that username, but welcome. Sheila, is that right? Hello. Yeah, see, Sodom VR is kind of mid. I wouldn't say mid. I would say it kind of just wasn't the focal point, right? I mean, that they had abandoned that a long time ago because, for good reason, right? They needed to pivot and really focus on the flat version because that's the one that everyone seemingly cared about. That was kind of the feedback they got from Help Wanted 2 because no one really, you know, no one really showed up for it, right? And I think that's kind of the big issue is that, like, if we want, as FNAF fans, I think we need to realize that if we want good content, we need to show up, right? Because, like, a lot of people don't play the games, and I think that's kind of a problem. Because I think that if we want continued good content, we have to get to the realization that, like, we need to show up, right? So if you like Secret of the Mimic, we need to, like, be like, hey guys, let's show up for this, right? And let's put down our money, give them our money so that they can continue to give us great products like Secret of the Mimic, right? And I know VR was a little bit discouraging, but ultimately it really didn't matter that much, and I think the only reason they continued production of it was because everyone kept asking about it and they felt obligated to. But it's clearly not a focus, right? They haven't released any patch notes for it, even though there are some glaring issues. It seems very much that they're working on a different project that's much bigger, that I really just want to give them their time to work on that, right? I know it's one of those things, well, if something's a problem, they should fix it, right? They shouldn't just move on to a different project, but I don't know. I feel like Secret of the Mimic, they kind of did a pretty good job with it, right? I didn't have too many issues on launch. I know there were some issues, but I don't know. Definitely, I'm not excusing them. Definitely, I'm not saying that, like, there are no issues and that you should ignore it, all the criticism. But I think we should change the way that we talk about it, right? I think that we should be a little bit more realistic, right? I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. Yeah, I mean, I really love Secret of the Mimic too. Like, that's one of my favorite freaking FNAF games at this point. We should be... That's good. That's how friendships are made, guys. You have that common goal. No wonder that in the FNAF stream, you happen to find somebody who also likes FNAF. That's great, though. Love that. Yeah. We all are your friends. No, not really. Not in that way. But, yeah, so... Obviously, June 2nd is a big date for a lot of people because State of Play. We also have the Summer's Game Fest, which we're... I would laugh if we got a FNAF game at that. That would be really cool. What's your favorite FNAF game? Well, I would say probably between Ruin and Secret of the Mimic. I'm a little bit partial to the Steel Wool era just because that's kind of like when I came in, right? And I haven't played a lot of and I know I just preached on, like, how you should, you know, show up and play the games, but, like, it's just a little bit harder, you know, to get into, like, the first 1 through 6, you know. I mean, 6th is free, so that shouldn't be hard to get into. I just haven't gotten around to it. I wonder how different the gameplay of the next game is going to be. I mean... It depends. We kind of don't know if it's going to be... Because that's kind of the thing that I think people are kind of justified in being a little bit frustrated at, is that, like, we have several projects we know about that just haven't come out, like 5 Laps at Freddy's and, like, the Survival Crew, which I believe, last time I checked, are still in production, right? I know Survival Crew had that leak, but, like, it's never been revealed to be canceled. And, I mean... I don't know. There's a lot of projects that people have kind of just been coming out about that they're like, oh, it was canceled, but it's like, were they? Do we know that for sure? Are you just saying that? Like, I don't know. Because I think about, like, people have said that before, and it's like, no, it wasn't actually. But yeah, I'm not sure what the gameplay will be like. It depends on what the next game will be. because Five Nights at Freddy's is still slated for 2026, and I would expect a trailer or more updates. But I know we got something recently. They uploaded 23 days ago something, but you know. Do you know T-Dreads? I do. I watch some of. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I do watch some of his content sometimes. Perchance I do. Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of like the popular ones, like Unwithered Truth, and you know, it's escaping me. Give me Homestead. I watch some of the book breakdowns. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah. We reacted to one of the theory videos from a smaller creator that I think should upload again. They haven't uploaded in like a year. I don't know what the situation is there, but we reacted to a video on the survival logbook that I thought was like really, really good. That got me thinking like pretty deep into some of the stuff. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I know we don't have too much. I don't have like any specific plans for the stream, by the way, so if you guys want to bring up topics or anything. Do you know VRAR? I don't. But here, let me look them up. Not promising any reactions or anything, but I'm curious. Also, I am insanely excited about seeing the back rooms. Like, insanely. Oh, I haven't seen this channel. Okay. So, very good. Yeah, they're a little bit of a smaller content creator, but they released a month ago. Okay. I'll have to check this out, because this looks pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't like watch like a ton of theory videos. Just like, I don't know. I don't know why. I think maybe it's just a me issue where I'm like, well, like I just feel like I talked about this last time, that I feel like I just can't engage with it in the same way that I can like just talking to you guys or like talking to someone over Discord, right? You know? No, I mean, yeah, I think they're really, really fun. I mean, I work a lot, so, like, I have the privilege of being able to wear earbuds during work, which is really nice, so I'm able to listen to, you know, videos like, you know, one of Gibby's breakdowns of, like, the Tales books that he's doing right now, which is really cool to be able to just take an hour and listen to that and, you know, takes your mind off of work and stuff. So that's pretty nice. They are fun. I do enjoy them a lot. Some of them are pretty crazy, though. Nothing wrong with that, though. Do you like Sister Location? I do. I haven't played a whole lot of Sister Location. I did a stream where I think I got through about half of it. But I have watched like a full playthrough of it. I can't wait for Gibby to get the Bleeding Heart story. So, here's my opinion. The Bleeding Heart story is very sad. It is a little bit of a nothing burger, though. Like, it's sad. It is very depressing. But I think I expected more out of it, and I think that's part of the problem. Like, for me, I think Bleeding's Heart, I had so much expectations for it because it was Kelly Para, and I looked at the title and I was like, this is gonna be like a follow-up to freaking like Frailty, because I was thinking like, oh, Bleeding Heart, it's the pendant, it's the pendant heart, and then I was like went into with too much expectations. I did really like that story though, to be clear. I thought, I know saying it's a nothing burger is a harsh criticism, but I think it's not really a criticism at all. It's not really specific. it's fine, but it's really absurd. No, it is. I think that's part of the charm of it, though. It's like all of the stories have absurdist elements of it, right? I mean, FNAF's kind of rooted into sci-fi, so I think that having the little, like, nanobots that are... I mean, as far as a horror concept goes, it's very unique and very horrifying in the, like, implication, which has always been where FNAF thrives, right? It's not gory, but it has the implication of gore that is pretty horrific, right? So that's always been where it thrives at the end of the day. So I understand, like, what it's going for. I just have a hard time justifying the end where it's like, oh no, and then it's like, well, I guess I'll die, and it's like, that's kind of. I haven't read it in a while, though. I need to reread it to be able to make, like, an actual justified, judgment on it. You know? So, take that with a grain of salt. I might have a different opinion if I go through and reread it again. Oh, that's my Discord. Wait, I don't have... But why is it up there? I don't want it right there. Here. Let me refocus this. Here, I'm gonna do this just so we have something to look at other than my face. For those who are wondering, this is my insanity board / mind map. And I can, if we get into a topic of conversation, we can go through and do a little bit of a topic analysis. What song are you playing in the background? So this is Vinta Black from Sister Location. It is amazing. I love Leon Ruskin is incredible. Is it from Security Breach? It might... I think so. There was a cut song from Security Breach, but I think this might be the cut one. Let me check, actually. Yeah, no, this is the cut one. Yeah. But it is built off of Vinta Black. So it's actually called Snap Goes the Spinal Cord. Leon Riskin and your puns. Yeah, so it's Snap Goes the Spinal Cord. But it's a Vinta Black remix. That was supposed to be in Security Breach, which is mighty suspicious, Leon Riskin, for you to... But it was cut, so... Plenty of other Sister Location connections for us to make, though. We may not have this, but we have all sorts of other things. Yeah, so this is my insanity board, and I can actually... Let me give the link to this. Because I can... Alright, if you want to look... Okay. Sanity board. Do you like the Help Wanted 2 soundtrack? I love the Help Wanted 2 soundtrack. Actually, let me look at it real quick. You know what I have been really looking at a lot? The Into the Pit soundtrack by, I think it's I Am 8-Bit, or 8, it's something like that, is really freaking good. Like, that's, the Into the Pit soundtrack is so good. Also, you get a little bit of a cameo if you look on this, because your mouse gets to show. I'm also a little bit confused. So I've asked this every single stream, but I've never gotten a clear answer. When you are able to look at this, are you able to interact with everything, or are you only able to see what I have here? Because I've been a little bit confused on that. You know, because I don't know how the sharing works exactly. I just know that it allows people to access the site. I feel like whenever I did it, I was able to like click on everything, but I'm not sure. So I don't know if somebody can answer that question, but it would be appreciated. That way I can like open things up if you need me to, you know, so you guys can see things you're curious about. Not everything is a little bit unfinished, whenever it comes to this. It's just something fun that we're kind of building out with these streams, right? Give them a little bit of a purpose. I was wanting to do one where I did a breakdown analysis of Moon.exe. I now have everything I need for that. It's just a lot of work. It's just a lot of work there, because I have to go through all the dialogue, and I have, like, I don't have it in order, and I have all of the screenshots, I have all the text, but I just have to put them together, and it's a lot, but it's, you know, it is what it is ultimately. So it's like, I don't know. Like, if I click on this, can you guys see this now? Because you should be able to, because this is what the other work that we were doing, where we were doing therapy tape analysis. What is this supposed to be? So this is a mind map, which is basically a organized way of, like, basically organizing your thoughts. With this, it's an analysis board. So effectively what we're doing is we're taking, so you would take a topic, right? In this case, I say Gregory. Well, one of the main things Gregory's in is the therapy tapes, right? So therapy tapes. He's patient 46. Here are all of the messages. So we went through all of them in a separate stream, and we began to, like, break them down. What are the key things that these are trying to tell us? And then we do that. And then what we can do is, like, we can connect these to other parts of them, so we can, like, connect our thoughts together. For somebody who is, like, very scatterbrained, this is an amazing way of being able to, like, cohesively make a point. What did you think is underneath Pizza Sim location? I would say probably sister location. If I had a bet, if I was a betting man, I would say sister location is darn there. And then underneath sister location, of course, is Undertale. And underneath Undertale is the Abyss from Hollow Knight. I love that meme to death. I love that freaking meme. I do truly believe it's sister location, but that meme is amazing. If you've seen it, the whole, like, massive compilation of video games that all are just all in the same universe. What meme? It's something that I found. It was all over Twitter for a little bit. It was like the whole meme of, like, every single game universe being inside or underneath the Pizzaplex. Yeah, it's amazing. I freaking love that image. And people got so freaking absurd with it. It was incredible. That's what I love about this community. Whenever we're able to do stuff like that, you know, instead of all the complaining. Prince Nyland, welcome. I work tomorrow, so I can't join the stream. Gonna go to sleep, but love that we kept this up. Podcast win. This is technically the podcast. You're watching it right now. But maybe you'll have something to watch at work tomorrow too. I'll see about streaming tomorrow. But no, you're good, Nightland. I definitely want to reconnect. We are gonna have to continue our conversation. For those who don't know, he just got back from a pretty big chess tournament, so a lot of exciting stuff going on there. We'll have to have you on, and you can talk to everybody about it. What did you make this? Wait, did you make this? Yes. Yeah, this is something that I've been working on for a long time. So if you look back on the channel, I did all of this basically on stream. There's a lot of streams where I'm basically just yapping, and you guys seem to like that for some reason. You guys really seem to like these streams, and I mean, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome for it. But yeah, I just had a meeting with Freddy Fazbear. Congratulations. I hope you didn't get Bite of 87, alright? Because that would suck if you left with zero memory of the actual meeting, because you got your frontal lobe bitten. Also, for all those joining in, you are now required by law, because you had one of the gag candy from Help 1 and 2. You are legally obligated to like the video. So, sorry, I don't make the rules. Just gotta do it. Alright, so like the video, subscribe if you haven't. A lot of people are coming in that are new, and I think you guys are awesome. You guys you guys, like, genuinely, I think it's insane how well behaved you guys are. Like, look, Look, there are moments, we have had our streams where it has been off the wall. But honestly, I think those aren't too bad, and I think it's fun to have fun, right? I mean, I think that if we don't take ourselves too seriously, it's fine. I take everything too seriously, and it sucks, so don't do that. Don't be like me. Be relaxed, like Freddy Fazbear. Takes a big swig of Coca-Cola. That's the commercial. Yeah, so this is something that we've been working on from stream to stream. I really like you can add pictures to it. It's such a small thing, but I love that you can add pictures. We have a lot of like unfinished areas too. I liked, thank you, appreciate it. You are awesome. Yes, continue to like the video, guys. I swear, I did not think that worked, but we actually had a video that Nightland was on, and he continued to ask people for likes, and they were compelled to, you know, so apparently it works pretty well, so. Psychology, guys. Do you guys enjoy the music, or do you guys want to change it? I like to diversify a little bit, as long as it's in the FNAF sphere. Welcome! Hello, hello! I would try, I can see, like, I'm going to say Sebastian. I'm so sorry, that is the only bit of your username that I can pronounce. It also is like one word. I know it's probably actually one word, but I'm really trying to be better whenever it comes to pronouncing people's, like, because I want to recognize people that are coming in, but it's hard, you know? All that really happened at the meeting was he said Chica was looking for pizza. Oh. Interesting. For pizza. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder what the implication is for the lore with that. I don't want to think about it. But I think that somebody should call HR, because that sounds like an issue. That is very funny. Do Tales... Oh, do Tales of the One-Eyed Cat Cavern. That is actually a freaking fantastic request. Hold on, hold the phone, because yeah, that song freaking rocks. that is legitimately a great one. The One-Eyed... I love the rhythm of that one. That one is plus that whole the whole Foxy log ride is so good. Like, look, I know people have complaints that like Help Wanted 2 isn't scary, but like I don't need a game to be scary. It was freaking fun. Like FNAF, it's scary in implication. It's psychological horror, right? Mostly first. It's not really like, yes, there's jump scares, and that is like an immediate horror, but like most of what I view FNAF as is like psychological horror. So it's like, I think there's plenty of implications within Help Wanted 2 that make it scary, right? I don't need the physical, like, I don't know. That's besides the point. This is a great song. Why are there ads in the streams? You are not the first person to ask. The reason is because I'm greedy and I like money. No, it's just because I don't know what decides it. The overlords at YouTube decide when the ads go off, and I have to ride the waves, my friends. So if you do watch the ad, thank you. You made me money, and that makes me happy. You see the way I'm smiling? It makes me happy. Yeah, thank you. The music of the newest games. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I think it's just a testament to, like, Leon Riskin's just increased, like, just, you know, technical knowledge and, musical prowess, as the fancy people say. No, I think Leon Riskin is absolutely fantastic, but I do not know what what illicit substances the people on the team doing the music for Into the Pit were on, but my gosh, fantastic, next level. Like, Leon Riskin is amazing, but I need them to do a collab with I think it's who did the music for Into the Pit? I don't know. I was trying to look at it and I was trying to find it. Now I'm just gonna leave and rejoin the stream when there's an ad. That would be hilarious. Yes, just keep refreshing it until an ad is there. That's fantastic. Thank you for your service. This is probably really bad that I'm drinking this at 10 o'clock, but that's kind of the whole purpose. It's to like keep me awake, because I was kind of planning on staying up a little bit, because I don't have work. That's very nice. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for being with me, especially on a freaking Wednesday. It's crazy. Okay. All right. Well, here is a question. What do you guys think we should talk about? Because I have some things that we could talk about. Absolutely have plenty. But if you guys have any questions... Freddy said I shouldn't because he said he couldn't do horror correctly. Horror. That's very unfortunate. I'm so sorry for him. Ooh, do you think... Chapter 13. What do you guys think about Chapter 13 of the Ultimate Guide 2.0? What are you guys thinking? Because I got a whole whole breakdown of it right here that I think is very interesting. We did a whole stream talking about it. That was pretty cool. I think I'm a pumpkin. I think French fries go well with hamburgers. It's very true. You are a pumpkin indeed. But yes. This is what happens when you come into a stream unprepared. It's fine. Here, let me try something real quick. Tales from the One-Eyed Cat Tavern. Do you think I should do a poll, actually? Okay. Let me do a poll. Okay. What should the question be? Because my curiosity is... Okay. What? Interesting. Pumpkin, it sounds like you're in a very interesting situation. I'm not quite sure what the context is, but good luck with that. With your meeting with Michael. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what we could talk about. Oh, you know what? There is, that wouldn't be too difficult. Should we talk about that? Okay. We do have a section for moon.exe. We are going to talk about that eventually. That is going to happen. Probably not tonight. Okay. Let's see. Candy Cadet. I am curious about something. Okay. Candy Cadet stories. And then I do actually have a very good image of Candy Cadet. We'll put in the poster. Just a screenshot of Markiplier there. Fan-freaking-tastic. That's great. I love that. I know the context of why I did that too. It's very funny. Hold on. Where is it? Where's the... I have a screenshot for... Oh gosh, where is it? There it is. Okay. I think it would be really fun to do an analysis of all of Candy Cadet's stories, including the ones from, like, FNAF 6. So we'll break this up. We'll do FNAF 6. That's gonna be a little bit separate, but it isn't completely unrelated. I think that's interesting. We should talk about that. And then the next place would be Ruin. That's the next appearance, and then wait, actually, you know what? Doesn't Candy Cadet also have a secret story in UCN too? I don't see a whole lot of people talking about that one. But he does have like a broken up story when he's glitching. Hello, Cheeseman! Cheeseman, welcome. Welcome, Cheeseman. I love that username. Welcome, Cheeseman, indeed. Dang. Pumpkin, that's rough. That's tough there. Yeah. Dang. Thank you. Ah, no problem. So it appears in Ruin, and then the next appearance would be Help Wanted 2. And that's pretty much it. I mean, yes, he does appear in Secret of the Mimic, but he doesn't really do anything there. But there's no... Yeah, I think that's basically it. So, okay, let me go ahead and pull up this. Get the actual story's transcript. Candy Cadet. A girl? What does that mean? Candy Cadet stories. Audio. Okay. Yes. Alright, so, we have all of these, and then, okay. Candy Cadet is a girl? I don't think it matters. I think it's just a robot. There is a sub to you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. I am loving all of the new members and all of the new subscribers we've been getting. Appreciate all the engagement, guys. Like, genuinely, it's very much appreciated. You guys are awesome, because, like, before, I wasn't really getting anything, right? Which is fine, you know, but it does help. It does help whenever you're streaming and there is people in the chat that are engaging with you, right? And there doesn't need to be engagement all the time. You don't need to feel like you need to chat, but I do appreciate it when you guys do. It does mean a lot. So, let's see. Okay. The first story. Okay, let's do this. First story. And this will be fun. Okay, story 1. Oh, dang. Pumpkin, it sounds like you're having a very unwelcomed crossover of things that are very chaotic. Oh, no, I mean, it's just very nice. I mean, especially, it's nice, I mean, whenever you're a smaller creator, right? It gets very difficult, I imagine, to do that as, like, a larger creator, but it's always nice to be able to, like, read people's comments, and I always do read your guys' comments, and it's crazy how much you guys comment, right? And, I mean, I always think to myself, I'm like, why are you guys here? What, I mean, like, am I that engaging? Am I that interesting? Probably not, but it's about the shared interest, right? I mean, it's about the fact that we, like, all are here for fun time, right? Okay. Pumpkin, you're cracking me up. That's funny. Okay. Now, I am trying to figure out what the best way to do this is, because there's a lot of text. Okay, so that's the conditional thing. I am cadet. Okay. And then actual story. I mean, that's not the first story. That would just be like additional dialogue. Reading. How long did this take? So, I mean, it's something that I worked over, and again, like, not all of it is finished, right? A lot of it's just very, like, surface level thoughts. It didn't take, like, I think as long as I'm probably thinking it did, but I did spend a couple of pretty long streams, you know, going through it and trying to get everything together. Mostly, okay, so this is one that we worked on quite a bit, and there is quite a lot here, but once you get, the fun thing about mind mapping is that, like, once you get going, you really get going, you get into a flow of it, because that's what it's meant to do, right? It's meant to, like, have the thoughts flow one into another, and it's supposed to, like, facilitate very smooth, just, like, collective thought, right? So that you're collecting all of that. This popped up in my recommendation. I just joined what's going on right now. So we're basically doing a little bit of fun lore analysis. This is separate from what we were doing before, but we're doing analysis on the Candy Cadet stories. So we're just, you know, having a good time talking about FNAF and stuff. So welcome in. I hope you enjoy, and I hope my content is engaging. I don't know. It is what it is, you know? If it's engaging, it's engaging. If it's not, it's not. It just had to yell at William to get in my room. Alright. Furthermore, just another entry into the long chronicles, the pumpkin chronicles over there. It's fun. Okay, we were over here. We're trying to get the first story over here. Okay, so this would be the actual story one here. This is where the fun begins. What are the chances of, like, each story spawning? Because I know it's like a really, like, it's a chance based on, like, how many like, it's a rare chance, right, that these stories spawn. What's, like, the chance that these spawn in game? It just keeps coming back for a child I don't have. Dang, that's rough. Okay, I want to make this a little bit more organized here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, here's the question. Do we want to listen to the audio tape, or do you want to listen to my fantastic voice acting? Do you want to listen to me read the tapes, or do you want me to for us just to listen to the, you know, the classic Candy Cadet? Because if I'm reading it, it's going to be a little bit easier to analyze, because I can, like, stop and, like, look at the lines. But if we listen to it, it probably will be much funner. I want to listen to me. Oh, hold on. There's context. Play the child laughs. That's great. Oh my gosh, Pumpkin over there playing FNAF 3. Crazy. You know, it's so funny. In the story Pressure, I love the fact that they, like, included that little detail of having the audio player, or, like, the speaker, and they had the little balloon boy reference there with, like, the hello, right? And I think it mentioned that. Oh, no worries. I hope you have a good rest of your day. You got it. Although, actually, I don't know what that's an abbreviation for. Okay, so do what's easier for you. Okay, I appreciate it. I was getting a little sidetracked. That's gonna happen. So if you're not aware of these streams, like you might not be, I'm ADD as crap. So a lot of times these streams get derailed very fast. We try to keep focused, we try to get some work done, but some of the times the fun is not getting anything done. Not getting anything done. And just having fun. You can't turn your nose to it. It is literally what it is. Why does it show up over here? What the heck? That's the second time that it switched screens, and I don't know why. Balloon Boy stole my batteries. I can't. Oh my gosh, that is everyone's worst nightmare. Okay, we're gonna listen to it because I think that's funner. Let me
Now
know
I
if
will
you guys
tell you
can-
a story about a young woman who was sealed in a small room. In the room was a furnace, and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of 5 doors outside her room. Inside each room was a child that she could take with her as she fled the building. But she was only allowed to leave her own room with 1 key, not all 5. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors. Of course, it did not work that way. Now her key opened none of the doors. Rather than leaving her room with a key to 1 life, she had taken with her the key to 5 deaths.
Interesting. So, this story is. I love the Candy Cadet stories because they're just very interesting. There's a lot of nuance to them, and that's always fun because it leaves room for speculation. There's a lot of symbolism here. Obviously, it's a very symbolic story. So you have a young woman, right? Who is okay. So you have a young woman. Is the topic of the discussion. That's the main character, right? You have the 5. Okay, so it says you have the 5 keys that unlocks the 5 doors. So this is how it works, right? So you have your different subjects. What's your different subjects of the story? Who are your main characters, right? And then you move down to the next question, right? So this is like a good way of organizing and condensing analysis. And this is an interesting story to analyze. I think it's kind of primed for it. So obviously you have 5 keys, you have 5 doors, right? 5 keys. Well, I guess that might be under that. I was kind of a bit iffy on if that should be under that one. Okay, so 5 doors unlock one of the 5 doors outside her room. Inside each room was a child. So you have 5 children. Obviously that harkens back to the MCI, the missing children's incident, right? So, which is very interesting. Obviously, all of this kind of harkens back to sister location, because even in Help Wanted, we discovered that you have, like, in the furnace level, you have the 5 endos that are being burned, literally melted down, right? So it does seem to harken back to the idea and concept of what William did in Sister Location. Uh, William keeps coming back. That's so unfortunate. What's interesting, so was sealed in a small room. In a room was a furnace. So the next subject you have is you have a furnace. So you have a young woman, 5 kids, keys, 5 children, and a furnace. That's all the things in the room, right? And obviously the doors. Unlocks 5, 1. Okay. Let me look at this. So there's a young woman who was sealed in a small room. What's interesting to me here is so the young woman is sealed in the room. That's really interesting, right? So the woman is trapped in here too. She isn't just someone who came in here, she's sealed inside of the room. In the room was a furnace and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of the 5 doors outside her room. So one of the interesting things is the way that this is phrased is similar to a logic puzzle. So, like in a logic puzzle, you typically have different, like you have a setup, right? You have a problem, you have a situation, and it almost feels like an impossible situation, right? So in a way, this is kind of a mixture between a logic puzzle and a parable, right? Like where you have there's a moral lesson at the end, right? Like the solution of it was the wrong solution, it was the wrong answer to the puzzle, and it ended up not helping anyone, right? So you have that kind of like morality tale kind of thing. But in the end, it kind of really does read like if you've ever heard of one of those like famous riddle problems, like riddle puzzles, this is exactly how it would be laid out, right? You have 5 keys, 5 doors, and a furnace, right? You have your setup. It's almost like a game, right? Like one of those puzzle escape room type games, right? You're even sealed in a room. So you have this really interesting setup, which is fun. It's interesting that she's being told by someone, so there's somebody else that's communicating with her. But again, that's similar to a riddle. You know, you always have the setup. Somebody, a guard, tells a prisoner something that sets up all the information they need to solve the riddle, right? But the interesting thing is that instead of it being a riddle, it's already a done set of events, right? This is something that's happened already. There is no solution. The solution that was done was incorrect. So she could take with her as she fled the building, but she was only allowed to leave her own room with 1 key, not all 5. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors. Of course, it did not work that way. Now her key opened none of the doors. Rather than leaving her room with a key to 1 life, she had taken with her the key to 5 deaths. So, there's so many interesting little aspects to this. So, for the 5 kids, there is 1 child in each room. So there are 5 rooms. Unlocks 1 of the 5 doors, right? And this would just be... Oh, wait, hold on. That was the one I wanted. That would just be connected to this, right? So unlocks in each of those doors. You have 1 of those. Okay. So the woman can leave the building using 1 of the 5 keys and taking 1 of the children with her, right? Oh my gosh. Hey, Pumpkin, it's like you're creating a little soap opera over there, and it's just like it's just rapidly developing. It's very entertaining. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the furnace. Unlock 1 of the 5 doors. Why is the furnace here? Right, so she uses the furnace. But the furnace, what, like, if this is a setup for a puzzle, like a riddle puzzle, what is the use of the furnace supposed to be used for? Like, how is this supposed to be solved? Is it literally just the case of you just leave and you leave the 4 other children to die? Like, that's it. Obviously that harkens back to... What does this harken back to? Because it's like, yes, that harkens back to sister location. You could easily make this a parable about Michael and sister location going in, trying to save baby, and the creation of Innard instead of all of them being, freed. They were all trapped in Innard. But on the other hand, it's like, it doesn't really fit. super well, and I don't know. Obviously it could be that, but I don't know. I could make a FNAF game about this. I would play it. That would be entertaining. Just a random, YouTube, or yeah, that'd be pretty funny. So woman uses furnace to melt 5 keys into 1. Everyone gets cut up on that. It's 5 into 1. But the point of the story isn't about the keys, it's about the consequence of what happens, right? So the point of this is that 5 keys turns into 1 and renders keys unusable. Melted the 5 keys together. Okay, woman melts the 5 keys into 1 in hopes of freeing all 5 children. Hoping, of course, it did not work that way. So the ultimate moral, the ultimate consequence is that you can only save one of them. You can't save everyone. But in trying to save everyone, you're going to basically render everything unusable, right? So if we're thinking about this also in the context of FNAF 6, right? The whole plan of FNAF 6 is gather everyone together to burn them all in a furnace, right? So the idea of it is that you bring everyone together, all 5 of the children together, right? Excluding baby. Or I guess including, because we don't know necessarily where Golden Freddy is at this point. But bring everyone together. You could save one of them, but instead you try to melt all of the keys together. So the question is, what do the keys represent? There are 5 keys. They unlock the doors to the 5 children, right? They free the children. But you can't free all of the children, you can only free one of them. So is this not actually just is this not just a commentary on FNAF 6 itself, right? And Henry's plan. If Henry is trying to save everyone and basically burning everything down, but his method of doing that is that just burn it all to the ground, is that not him falling into the same trap as the woman from this story, right? Is that why it didn't work? Is the game itself telling us that Henry's plan was wrong? That it was never going to work? Because yes, Sister Location does have a furnace, that is true, but the furnace isn't the point of the story. The furnace allows her to do the wrong choice, which is melting everything together. That does remind me of Ennard, obviously. I don't know. It is interesting. It is very interesting. Also, if you're new here and you have not liked the video already, go ahead and like it if you feel obligated to, which you should. Yes, absolutely. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that this potentially could be about Henry? It is interesting that it's about a young woman, right? I don't know who that could be referring to within the story. The only young woman, interestingly enough, would be in a different Candy Cadet story, which I think is about Vanessa, but I don't think that's who this is referring to. Because here's the thing, right? Michael went into Sister Location not planning to save everyone. He just planned to save Baby, right? And he wasn't really going in there to save anyone else but her, right? So all of the other things were facilitated by Baby. So you could consider maybe Baby is the subject of the story. Maybe she's the young woman. Because it's also somebody who was sealed in a small room. But you could also consider Henry to also, because he did end up sealing himself off at the end, right? Or it could be about both, right? That's very possible. I think that this could be about more than one thing, and we're going to have other stories that are going to explore different aspects of this. So I think that we should stop this. We'll come back to it. I think we got everything that we can out of it, and we will go on to the second story. I know that maybe that was a little bit deeper than it probably needed to be, but that's kind of what we're all about here, so just relax and have fun with it. Story 2. But interesting, I want to keep this in context of the game that it's from, but also what it could also additionally be about. There were eggs Benedict on the menu. Perfect. Very good. I'll have 2 orders of it. Where did all the rum go? It's not rum, it's caffeine. Okay. So now we're moving on to the second story. Okay. I don't know actually if these are supposed to be in a specific order, but I don't think so. Alright. Now I will tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story, actually. Guys, prepare yourself. Okay. Now I will tell you a story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children. So he adopted all 5 and brought them together in one place in his own home. He promised them to never leave them, and they promised to always come home and never stay out too late. He left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford 1 coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. That night, there was a knock at the door. This is fascinating. There's so many little things here that it's just like, Because, okay, so obviously the subject of this one is a kind man. It's specifically a kind man who visits 5 orphans to bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children. So he adopted all 5. Scary. I mean, it is pretty terrifying. I mean, that's not a fun story. It's very dark. Are all the stories about putting 5 things together like what Henry was trying to do? It seems to be, yes. It seems so. So all of them are, and a lot of the theories kind of circulate around the idea that this is about different moments in the franchise, right? Like Follow Me, or like Sister Location, what happened there with the underground bunker. There's all these little theories, right? But I'm also trying to think about these in context. But I think about Ruin, I think about that story that we're gonna get to, and I think that 2 things can be true at once, right? You can have the story in context and then have it out of context and have the parallel, right? So I think that we need to look at it in context first, but also be open to the possibility that it might be about more than one thing, right? With a story this nuanced and very clearly symbolic, that is something you have to keep in mind. Oh no, the scariest thing of all. So the next thing is a burglar. A burglar. That's not how you spell that. Killed. The man could only afford. Okay, so. Oh! You know what I just realized? Yeah, this is absolutely... Wait. Yeah, so... There's some interesting things here. I'm curious about some stuff. So, it seems like all of these stories are about people who have good intentions, but ultimately their ideology or their logic is flawed, right? Why you killed them? Oh, dang, I don't know. They were looking at me wrong, I guess. So visit the 5 orphans, bringing them toys and gladness. Okay. The man lived alone. The man lived alone and feared. Alone in fear. The man lived alone and lived in fear. Wait, hold on. Like, break into the house, lived alone, and lived in fear. That's so interesting. What interesting phrasing. What interesting, like, a man lived alone and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children. So, the fact that they have homes, right? They're orphans, but they have homes. So they have separate foster families that are taking care of them, right? Like they have homes, separate homes, right? They aren't living in an orphanage, they're living in a temporary placement, right? So I think this is interesting for a lot of reasons, because listen to the phrasing here. A man lived alone and lived in fear. That is so interesting, because the idea here is that it's setting up, it isn't saying that the houses that the orphans live in is unsafe. It's saying a man lived alone and in fear. It is focused on the man, not the children. The children are happy. The man is the one that is miserable and alone and in fear, because in his thoughts, he's thinking about, oh, a burglar is going to come and is going to take one of these 5 children, right? So the focus of the story isn't on the safety of the children, it is on the safety of the man, because the man lives alone. He lives in fear. So when you read that, it makes you think, oh, this man is in the most vulnerable place that you can have. He is alone, he's in fear, so he doesn't want to be alone, and he doesn't want to be in fear. So that's why he adopts the children, right? It wasn't for their safety, it was for his. That's fascinating, because what that does is it sets up the fact that there's an alternative motive that makes this story even more tragic, right? And also sets up the idea that the intention was selfish, right? This was a kind man who had the selfish intention of not looking out the safety of others, but for himself, because he wanted to not be alone. He wanted to not be in fear that someone would break into, because obviously he cared about the children, right? But that was ultimately not his main focus. His own focus was on the fact that he lived alone. Not saying that he was a bad man, right? He did a lot for these people, but his actions were selfish in that regard, right? If that makes sense. And if you disagree with me, you guys can type in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts. But I think that line right there, that line right there that's an interesting line. I really like that. A man lived alone and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children. So he adopted all 5 and brought them together in one place. Okay. If you don't think this is about Henry, he brought them together in one place. Hold on. Hold the phone. FNAF 6 Henry dialogue. Hold the phone. Ending speech. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us, a gift. He gathered you. No. Okay. But I'm afraid you haven't. You are not here to receive a gift. You have indeed been called. But does Henry not say that in another part? He gathered them all. Hold on. In the secret tape, what does he say here? Because terminology, that phrase is used again. FNAF 6, Henry secret tape. Where's that? Henry Emily dialogue. Can I get the dialogue? Audio. Show. Okay, begin tape, leaving dead space. He gathered them together again. You still even remember that name? Okay, but in the secret tape. I don't think it's the exact phrasing. I think it's a different context. No. All of them together. I have to call them all back, all of them together in one place. Hold the phone. He uses the same terminology that Baby uses. Oh, that's fascinating. Hold on. Let me go back, because let me get that other thing here, because I want to look at this. Dialogue. So both that phrase comes up 3 times by 3 separate characters. He brought them all together in one place, because the 5 keys, all of them, it was all in one place. That's what the second story is about. It's about a kind man who brought everyone together, and it ended up putting them exactly where they were meant to be. For someone to wait a second. Wait, hold the phone. Pumpkin, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna miss the soap opera, but you know what? I'll hope for a reboot or a return. But thank you so much for coming in and talking. I really appreciate it. Okay, hold on, guys. We're on the verge of a massive discovery here, guys. Stay with me here. Okay, so let me go back here, because I want to get this other thing. FNAF 6. Henry dialogue. There we go. Okay, and then because I can go here, get this. I don't know if I can edit this. I will be back. Always. You will always come back. Okay. So, Baby says, you played right into our hand. Did you really think that the job just fell out of the sky for you? No, this was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. You gathered them all together in one place. I have to call them back. I have together in one place. I don't know how. They will never find rest. Not like this. I have to call them back together in one place. So was she not right? Was she more right than we thought? Candy Cadet discussion. Always love seeing how people interpret this. We're having some fun over here. Okay, the thing we're discussing right now is in 3 separate places, including the Candy Cadet story, right? It uses this phrase. Okay, and this one, it says right here. Where is it? He brought them. Okay, he left one day. Where does it say it? Okay, so he adopted all 5 and brought them together in one place in his own home. Okay? Baby, in the final dialogue before getting the connection terminated, says, you gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us, a gift. In the secret tape that you get in the lore ending, it says right here, I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place. These tapes are about Henry. Henry's plan was failed from the start. It was always meant to fail. His plan was faulty. His logic was, while it was good intentioned, was never going to succeed. While yes, the canon ending is the one that has them have like Henry, gives Henry his moment, his amazing speech. It's pointless because it was always meant to fail. These tapes, Candy Cadets proves that like bringing all of the souls back, all of them together, he was effectively the woman in the room, melting all of the 5 keys together, hoping that would save everyone, but in fact, it saves no one, right? And all of it is saying that he wanted you to bring them back. There's something here. There's something hidden here. A separate entity. It isn't William, because William's here in FNAF 6. He's not that big of a threat. But this job didn't land out of the sky for you. No, it was a gift for us. There's a continued theme in this story. There is a separate entity there that is a threat to them, that is going to take them, that is going to take the 5 children. Is it the vengeful spirit? Is that what we're led to believe? I don't... Interesting. We need to keep looking at this. So now I will tell you a story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone and lived in fear. I love that freaking line. That's so good. Because again, that establishes the idea that this was not... The intention was not to ease the 5 children's fears, it was to ease his own. It was a good intention, but there was selfishness behind it, right? He didn't want to be alone. He didn't want to live alone. He didn't want to live in fear, always worrying them. It's so much easier if he just had them near so that he could adopt them and give them, what they needed, right? But it was ultimately not about them. It was about him. Which perfectly, I think, goes back to Henry. I think that is Henry's character, right? Someone who obviously wanted it all to end, but ultimately, I mean, he was fine with the idea of just offing himself, right? Just like he did in the books, right? He was fine taking the, for lack of a better word, the coward's way out. I mean, it's a dark place to be in, to have that much guilt, that much weight. I'm not taking away from that, but ultimately, I mean, the selfishness was there, right? That he wanted it just to be over. It didn't matter if all of the details, all of the concepts and things that we know about, but weren't fully understood by him, that he didn't know if this plan was going to work. He just wanted it to be over, right? There's a very dark theming with that, with his character, right? And I mean, that's ultimately what you get at the end, right? He's staying behind. He's going to burn with everyone else. So he adopted all... Okay, so... Lived alone and feared that a burglar would take away the children. Okay. He brought them all together in one place. That freaking line. We're gonna have to do some analysis on that. That's fascinating. I like that. Okay, 5 orphans lived in 5 separate houses. This is an interesting theme. The 5 orphans are separated. So are you saying all the stories are about Henry? I think so. I think all of them thematically are about Henry. It does not mean that they can't be about something else, but I think primarily within the context of FNAF 6, all of these stories are about Henry, right? In the first tape, you get like the idea that Henry's methods are wrong. And then in the second one, you get that his intentions are wrong, right? It wasn't about the children's safety. It was about his own. He was living alone. He was in fear. Not the children were alone. Not the children were in fear. They were fine, right? So it's this idea that he was in danger, not them, right? So he wanted them for comfort, to know that they were safe, so that he wouldn't be in fear anymore and wouldn't have to worry about it. So it's giving you different characterizations for Henry himself. So he lived in five separate. They lived in five separate houses. But okay. So they lived in five separate houses. They were brought together in one place by a kind man. And that's ultimately the downfall of it, because the burglar gave them easy access. So, okay, he left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with Scott, that's so good. Oh my gosh. Guys, do you see it? Oh my gosh, that's so freaking good. Scott, you are a masterpiece. You are a master worker whenever you want to be. Do you guys see it? You guys see it? Oh man. Oh, that's so good. His heart being filled with gladness. Do you see the problem? Okay. A story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The double use of that, right? So he brought them gladness. But now that he's brought the children in, he left to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness. In the moment where they needed him most, right? That was when he was filled, because it was all about him. It wasn't about the children. That is the nail in the coffin coming up later on, right? Where we learn about how the fact that he literally probably couldn't even afford to have them, right? If he couldn't even afford a coffin, right? So, that's interesting. So, he left his heart full of gladness, but he used to give gladness to the children, right? But now it's about him. That's so fascinating. But returned to find the burglar had chosen his home and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford 1 coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one and buried the child. That night there was buried the child, not the children, the child. It's like it physically became one entity. That's fascinating. The one you shouldn't have killed. So he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one and buried the child. I like that, especially because we didn't get too much direct information about Henry in one of the games. These stories being about giving him more characterization would fix that. I mean, and the characterization it's giving right now is so interesting, right? Because it's diving into his selfishness, his own, ending, like, desire, how he felt, right? And it's getting into, like, the deep weeds of, like, all of the complexity and moral grayness of this character, right? Because, like, he is a kind man, right? Just like the woman really was intending to save all of the children, but ultimately it's like, you might have been able to save them if you just went and focused. Like, his daughter, right? Like, what if he just went and sought after his daughter? Because, like, the whole reason that his daughter isn't moving on is probably because of him, because of his lack of his negligence, right? That's probably the one thing that's keeping his daughter from moving on, is the fact that she has this obligation to continue to help people because he never helped her, right? So, like, I mean, that's the whole novel, the FNAF 2 movie. That was what that was all about, right? Is the whole thing of, like, her being angry at parents, not because the parents did anything wrong. They were ignoring her, but, like, ultimately her anger comes from her negligent father, right? We get that with the characterizations from, like, Edwin and the Mimic, right? That's all paralleling each other, right? So you're getting this, and again, it's this looming threat that is implying that something comes after FNAF 6 and steals everything away. That's what's fascinating. If this is about FNAF 6, there's some fascinating implications that connect maybe to the Fazbear Fright stories. Low-key, all parents. Yeah. No, it's oh my gosh. Yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like thematically it makes sense, right? There's a lot of like, oh my gosh, why does I just played Secret of the Mimic and Edwin is another one of those. Yeah, except Fiona. I mean, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Fiona was the only like present parent in David's life, and I mean, oh, you replaced her with a robot. How poetic is that, right? I mean, ugh, it really does get to you. Okay, here, let me here, I'm gonna turn on the song because I like it. It's a little bit more chill. Okay, this is fun. We're getting to some good places here. I love this. So he adopted all 5 and brought them together. Okay, so now it's the burglar. So the burglar chose the man's house and killed the 5 children. Right. Okay. Now we go back to the old man because he decides to do something very interesting here. He couldn't afford a coffin. He could only afford one. He could only afford one coffin. Okay, the man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together. He could only afford one coffin. So he stitched the 5 bodies into one. And put the child in the coffin. Then, that night, there was a knock at the door. Buried the child that night. There was a knock at the door. Why was there a knock at the door? That night, there was a knock at the door. Maybe it connects to a different story. We'll keep that in mind because that's a really interesting ending. He had chosen his home. The man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one. And buried the child. It's interesting that it goes from 5 children to child. It literally changes the way that it's referred to. It says he buried the child. Now, children, it's like once he stitched them all together, it didn't make a difference. It was all just one thing. Because he didn't know them. I don't know. That's interesting. It's interesting how the story says child. Yeah, no. I was just talking about that. Yeah. Who is the one child in parallel to the canon FNAF 6 ending? Instead of children, who is the one child in parallel to the... So, is it possible that the vengeful spirit, the one you shouldn't have killed, is not just one, but a combination of all of them together? Is that potentially what this is implying? I don't know. That is interesting. Like, what if the vengeful spirit is an amalgamation of all the spirits? And that's why it's like... Because it's interesting that it's like referring to them as child, not children. We'll keep reading, because maybe we'll find something here, right? We'll keep looking, because I didn't expect to find additional information and stuff, but going through this again has offered some interesting revelations that I didn't expect, so I'm excited. I want to look into that one place, because this has, like, certain implications about there being some additional threat outside of William that was a threat to the children in FNAF 6 itself. Which is interesting, because of what Baby says. Because maybe what she says is more true than Henry even knows. I don't know. We'll keep reading. Okay, Because there are 3 stories altogether, which I thought there was more, but no, there's 3. This is the one about the snake. Okay. All right. I think is Molten Freddy. Yeah, I mean, there's the whole line of like, someone's at the door. What's the exact voice line? I'll have to look at it. Okay. Now I will tell you a story about a little boy. He had a red snake that he kept in a metal cage, whose hunger could not be satisfied. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox. He knew that the snake might kill them, but could not bring himself to get rid of the snake. He knew that if he chose one kitten to feed to the snake, it might be satisfied, but he could not choose, so he went to bed, leaving the cage open. The snake went to the shoebox, chose a kitten at random, and ate it. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regret and cut the snake open. He pieced the remains together and put the kitten back into the shoebox. I mean, it's practically the same thing as piecing together the children and putting them in the coffin. But what's interesting here is he had a red snake. Okay, so you have a little boy. He had a red, you have the red snake. This is interesting. There's some interesting implications here. Okay. 5 kittens. Okay, interesting. Because this is like a... It almost seems as if... I've never heard this story. This is so sad. Poor kittens. Yeah, no. It's horrific, and we're gonna talk about even more why it's even more darker than I think you might think, because... Oh boy. Alright. So... He had a pet snake. Red snake. Interesting that... What would that be? Okay. Red snake. Okay. What would that be referring to? Like a red snake? I mean, it could be anything. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of red snakes. I didn't know if there was maybe something specific it was referring to, but I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look deeper into that. Okay, so he had a pet red snake. This is what's interesting. Whose hunger... Okay, this is about the snake, so that wouldn't be there. Whose hunger could not be satisfied. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens. Maybe it's supposed to be Afton killing the kids, and Henry is the owner who feels bad and tried to save the kids after FNAF 6. I mean, yes, I have some... There's some thoughts in my head kind of stewing, because there's something deeper going on here. I think yes. No, absolutely. I think you're completely right. But in the context of FNAF 6, there's something that's darker here that is tying all of these stories together, that I'm trying to put into words. And let's go a little bit deeper into this. So we have 5 kittens. So, little boy finds 5 kittens. Okay. Outside his house. Okay. You know why this is about 5? So, this is specifically about FNAF 6. Because look at this. The boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. Now, before... the kind man, right? The man lived alone and lived in fear that someone might break into the house. So again, you have house, right? So, another thing to note, the snake is sealed in the room. In a cage, right? So, is the story about the salvages? So, my question is, there's a deeper threat here that I think is hidden. Something I think might be explored. Here's my thought, and I need to look deeper into this. I'm trying to do like the piecing together, so it's like, give me a minute to cook here. Give me a minute to cook. I'm cooking here. All right. We'll see. I don't want to say too much. So one day the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox, so he kept them trapped. He knew that the snake might kill them, but could not bring himself to get rid of the snake. Why? Oh gosh. He knew the snake. Why would the man not get rid of the snake? Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. He knew that the snake... Why? Oh my gosh, it's right in front of my freaking eyes. So... Oh, it is. It is absolutely, that's what it's talking about. Hold on. He knew that the snake might kill them. He had a pet snake. He knew that the snake might kill the kittens. He knew it. He knew it the whole time. He knew that it might do this, but it couldn't bring himself to do it. Why? Why is the snake so valuable to him? It isn't William, because Henry hates William at this point, right? Henry has no connection. Who would be the one person that Henry would care about that we would absolutely not want to get rid of, but absolutely poses a threat? What could it be? What would be the one thing that he knew might ruin everything, but he doesn't do it because there's something there that he just literally cannot? A hunger that can't be satiated. Why would he not want to get rid of it? Hunger. Hold on. Ultimate FNAF, FNAF, UCN, dialogue. My hunger cannot be satisfied. Ultimate custom night. Do we have all of the dialogue? This is kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of them talk about it, but Nightmare specifically has some lines, I think. No. It's definitely, no, it's not that one. Nightmare Fredbear. Heart. Illusion to Fear. Made. I was relish victim again flesh to be your tormentor. Who mentions something about and maybe I'm wrong. I know that I think Nightmare BB mentions something about being hungry, but there's a character that mentions it. I'm trying to think. Hunger. Let me cook here. No, not you. Not you. Not be spared, do not be saved. The shadow fears me. Go back to relive the horror. I don't think, maybe I'm looking in the wrong place here. I might. This nightmare. Wake up from. Maybe I'm wrong. No, that's not it. Hunger. Okay, I can't find it right now. That's alright. I'm gonna keep that open for right now. We'll go back to this. Okay. So his hunger could not be satisfied. It could not be satiated. I've heard that before. Where am I thinking? My brain's trying to work and it's... I can't keep up with it. But he could not choose. So he couldn't choose who to give up. He knew that the snake might kill the kitten. His hunger could not be satisfied. He knew the snake might... But he could not choose. He couldn't choose which one. He couldn't... I mean, it could be talking about... Couldn't choose... Choose who to feed to the snake. But here's the thing. It's like, it wouldn't have helped, because... Literally says the hunger could not be satisfied, right? So it's like, the whole point is completely useless. You have to get rid of the snake. The snake has to go. But why? Why is the little boy hanging on to the snake? He let go of William. William wasn't an employee anymore. I don't think he cared about William after a certain point. Obviously, he calls him a friend. So, I mean, there was a relationship at a certain point, right? That they were friends. But it's this one. It's this right here that is so interesting. So he went to bed, leaving the cage open. He knew. He was fully aware. This isn't talking about William. This is talking about something else. Because he intentionally knew and just left it up to chance. He was like, well, it might be satisfied, but he could not choose. So he went to bed, leaving the cage open. He left the door open and left it to chance. Just choose one of them. He left the door open. What is this referring to? What is it referring to? What is this? What did Henry do? The snake went to the shoebox, chose a kitten at random, and ate it. It's all about chance. It's all about chance. It's a hunger that was never satisfied, so he ate it at random. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regret and cut the snake open. He pieced the remains together and put the kitten back into the shoebox. Interesting. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy. There's a lot of stuff here that I'm trying to figure out. There's like a thread here that is interconnected together, but it is implying something that doesn't make sense to me right now, okay? So the monster at some point, so it's referred to as a burglar. 5 Nights at Freddy's? Indeed, indeed. That is funny. 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regrets. So, and it killed all of them, right? After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full. He cut the snake, he pieced the remains together. So, every night it took one of them. But he knew it. He knew that it was going on. And I mean, that follows the night of FNAF 6, right? He knew it. Wait a second. Is this freaking referring to us? As the player? Because think about it, right? 5 nights, it's referring to it over time, right? So the only thing that I mean, you said it, is the story about the salvages. I mean, kind of, it seems like it, right? I mean, it's a story about going through, picking one of them each night, picking them off, right? Whose hunger could not be satisfied. The boy he cut the snake open. He pieced the remains together, but that wouldn't make sense, right? I mean... Also, what would that be referring to, that he cut them open? What would that be referring to? Because again, it matches up with the previous story. This over here, the man could only afford 1 coffin. So he stitched the bodies together. And this one, he also does pretty much the same thing, right? Takes the 5 remains, and so every night, at random, it picked off one of the kittens. Over 5 nights, right? And then, Every night, the snake ate one of them. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regret. Cut the snake open. Piece the remains together and put the kittens back into the shoebox. Interesting. So, in the first story, he had an opportunity to save one of them, but he didn't. He could have saved one, but instead he tried to get a plan together to save everyone, and in doing so, sealed everyone's fates. Everyone was going to die. Why does it freaking keep doing this? I don't understand. Oh yeah, it's doing that all the time. Why? It's so weird. Why? Hold on. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. So the second story is about a man who, instead of just keeping everyone where they were, which probably would have saved everyone's life, instead selfishly he brought everyone together in one place in order to save everyone, but instead he ended up just putting them all in danger's way. In the second one, he knowingly is keeping the threat. The threat is something that he cares about, right? Because you don't keep something that's a danger unless you care about it, right? So he kept it in a metal cage. It was contained. It was fine. It had a hunger that it could never satisfy. And so it knew it would eat one of the baby kittens. My question is, okay, why did he leave the door open? And why couldn't he have kept the cage shut? Kept it locked in? Would it have gotten out naturally? Is it that it, could he not afford to feed it just anyways? Also, the fact that it's a red snake is important. It continues to refer to it. Is this talking about baby? Right? I don't think so. I mean, red, I immediately think about baby. The burglar. So, the question is... This is a matter of circumstance, right? This is it's a puzzle, right? This is phrased like a puzzle. This is a matter of ill. It's I don't know. Coming back to the exact terminology I'm looking for. This is negligence. Like, fully. Just all sorts of negligence going on. Leaving the cage, but he was full of regret, so now he wants to fix it. So he wants to put all the remains together, put the kitten back into the shoebox. So we cut... I think you're getting somewhere. I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, there's definitely something here. It's just there's a missing link that I am definitely missing. Because we also do have the fourth story that's hidden in Ultimate Custom Night. It isn't much, but it does exist. It is a part of the narrative. So let's look at that one, and then we'll take a look back. Okay. They were cut out of the snake, stitched together. Did you know that I always come back was from FNAF 6? I did. Fly Buddy, welcome. Welcome. I didn't know that. It's a very fun... Actually, Yeah, yeah, it was from there, and also it was included in Ultimate Custom Night. They cut out of the snake, stitched together. Dang it! It's like right there. It is so right there. We're on the breach of something there. Okay, so all of this is about Henry. That's what I'm getting from this. All of it is about Henry. It's about Henry's journey. Kevin, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome back. We're getting somewhere. We're actually getting somewhere with these Candy Cadet stories, I feel like. There is, like, we have exact terms, we have... Okay, so it is interesting. If the red snake is baby, right, it does make sense, because she's the one who uses the phrase that Henry says, right? Right here, the one where we get, you gather them all together in one place, right? That's the same thing Henry says. So there is a connection between what Baby is doing and just like he asked you to. We assume that she's talking about William. And that is pretty much confirmed down here. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. Oh, make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full. How are you? I'm doing well. I got very sunburnt over my vacation. I went to Indiana to spend some time with family. It was very nice. Crossroads of America. Woohoo! Hoosiers! says no one. It is a fun place, though. I do enjoy it. But yeah, I just went to visit family and stuff. Doing very well, though. Had an energy drink, so my energy is like... It's like kind of down here, but also artificially up here. So it's very nice. I'm doing alright, though. If you still even remember that name. Or have you been called by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called? And the circles chasing the cries of children get somehow out of reach. Do you somehow found there was a way up planned for you? Right. But still. For you. Hand unit narrator guy also says, don't forget Saturday you want them all to be in one place or something along those lines. If you pass a salvage, it's definitely a repeating phrase throughout the game. Yeah. Interesting. Let me look at that. Hand unit dialogue. Okay. Oh, interesting. I don't think it includes, remember you want them removed. Maybe it's not referred to as hand unit in, like, the dialogue or something. Because I do know it, I think I know what you're referring to. Yeah. That is interesting. Okay, and then, okay, so going to Ultimate Custom Night real quick, because this is going to be very, very short. We have... Here, then go over... Oh, gosh, I don't want that. Oh, dang. You guys are on a roll with the likes. 9 likes, let's go, guys. You guys are awesome. Oh, so dang. You guys have been showing up this stream. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I've already been going for like 2 hours. It's pretty crazy. Okay, hold on. So, the next story is not necessarily a full story. Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is the ruin story. So it's not a full story, but you can piece it together, and it does make one. So that's what we're gonna do. So the first line is obviously starts with, now I will tell you a story. These glitch throughout the lines. So first line, now I will tell you a story. The next one is, you promise them to never leave them. You promised them to never leave them. But he could not choose. But he could not choose. He pieced the remains together. So this is noteworthy. I'm doing okay myself. I'm slowly getting rid of my spots, my body. Dang, that's rough. Well, I hope that gets better. I don't know if you're making a DC reference with that. Well, yeah. Well, hold on, because isn't that? I'm thinking, isn't that the villain from Across the Spider-Verse? Or is that a DC reference? Because you could make both if it's like the polka dot man, which I think that might be worse, actually, to be honest. Is that it? He does go, yeah, that was what I was thinking. It might be. I might look at that a little bit in just a moment. So, okay. Now I will tell you a story, obviously, is how he starts off all of them. He promised them to never leave them. So, that's from this story, the second one. He says, the man lived alone. Okay, hold on. He promised to always, he would never leave them. And never stay out too late. Interesting. So, he would never leave them. Promised to never leave them, but he could not choose. That comes from this story. He pieced them together. I have some pills to help me not itch. I call them itching pills. Dang. Well, that's rough. I hate that. He pieced the remains together. Is that... Which story is that from? Is that from both of them? Yeah, it says that here, but it also says it here, doesn't it? So he stitched the 5 bodies. No. That's a specific line from this one. Okay. So another one to this. Okay, so it's 2 from the third story, then 1 from the other one. He promised them to never leave them, but he could not choose. He pieced the remains together. So it's like, yeah, it's broken up text from all the stories, but I think that it tells something here. It's highlighting these points. The fact that he promised them to never leave them, but he could not choose. He pieced them together, right? So he left them vulnerable. He left them, he left the red snake alive. And then he pieced the remains together, which is a common motif that is in the first or the second and third one. So, okay. Let's get this all together. Let's get all of our thoughts together for these. What's the best way to do that? Okay. I think the best way to do that would be to add a different section. So this one, let's see, analysis. Okay. So it appears to be appears to be about Henry's decisions made throughout FNAF 6's story. The first story. First story 1. Story 2. And story 3. This way we can just break down our analysis for each one. So what you're doing is kind of like a game anyway when you're making a story. Also, I have some ice cream that can help me lose my spots, so you don't have any... Well, hey, ice cream is amazing, so I completely get that. Oh, no, I appreciate it. Good luck with your next FNAF game. Well, I'm not currently making one, but I would love to. That'd be awesome. But I hope they announce the next one coming up. But yeah. It is kind of fun, though. I do enjoy this. So for the first story, so the young woman. Okay, so The young woman is Henry. That is such a funny statement. That's like saying William Afton is Toy Chica. The young woman is Henry. But so you get what I mean. Good luck. Wait, I already read that. Okay, so the young woman is Henry. Henry thought the best solution to the problem was gathering everyone into one place to burn them in a furnace to release all the souls at once. So yeah, so the idea is like, I mean, even in, you know, Security Breach and Ruin, it mentions, oh, it's a furnace, right? It continues to create this idea that FNAF 6 is like an oven, right? It's like a furnace. There is also the furnaces and Help Wanted that apply to sister locations, so I think it could also thematically apply to that as well, but not all the details line up with that. I think it more is about FNAF 6. Henry thought the best solution was gathering everyone into one place to burn them in the furnace to release all the souls at once. Combining 5 keys into one that rendered them unusable. Okay, so the kind man is Henry. The man chose his own. Man brought gladness to the children, but ultimately chose his own selfish desire to be. How's the best way to put this? Yeah, the one about the breakdown of Security Breach and Ruin. No, I haven't watched it yet. I have not gotten into it, but I don't know. I can't promise you that I will, but I don't know. It just depends on if I'm in the mood for it, you know. Especially with a video like that, with Security Breach kind of being released so long ago. I still think it would be interesting, though. I'm not dismissing it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I do remember it. Yeah. The man brought gladness to the children, but ultimately he chose his own selfish desire to bring comfort and safety to himself in the name of keeping the children safe. It says he was alone and fearful for the children and was filled with gladness when he left the house. The gladness he once children. So yeah, that's my breakdown analysis of that. So Henry's intentions were good, but they were tainted by his own selfish resolve just to end things, right? He just wanted it to be done. It didn't matter if it worked or not. He honestly wanted to off himself. I mean, it's very clearly said, and it's reinforced by the novels, right, that Henry was depressed, that he was not doing well. He just wanted everything to end. This was the easiest way to do it. He just wanted to bring everything together in one place. It didn't matter. But ultimately, it seems like his plan was destined to fail because of the red snake. And that seems to be the thing that's bothering me right now, right? So he knew that there was a burglar around, right? He knew that he could save a soul, right? He knew that he could save one of them. there was a specific that's important to his character, right? He could save one of them, but didn't, and in choosing so, he lost it. When I was at the building today, what is pizza? It was someone's birthday today. Oh dang, cool. That's cool. I like pizza. Pizza is good. He stitched all 5 bodies together. That's interesting, because he couldn't afford a casket. So he couldn't afford to deal with them individually, so he just stitched them all together. It was all in one place. So for the third one, the young boy is Henry. The red snake was a known threat, and Henry did nothing about it. Instead, he left it up to chance to dictate results. And you could consider that to be like, he left... What was the door? He left the door open. Is that about Henry losing his daughter, like, after all this time he thinks he could have prevented it? I'm not gonna lie. My thoughts right now is maybe... So... I don't know why no one has mentioned this or put this together. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody has. I don't know how this makes sense to me, but I'm wondering, is the red snake the puppet? Because the red snake is something that clearly the young boy loves, because he keeps it. He keeps it over the fact that he knows it's going to harm the others, but he keeps it anyways. It's very clear that Lefty is not the same character as the puppet that we have known. Something has happened since then. If you listen to the dialogue from Ultimate Custom Night, it's very clear that the puppet who says, you know, I don't hate you, but you're in my way, isn't the same puppet character as the one in Lefty, right? That is, nope, right? So there's clearly a change that happened in between there. And if you listen to what the puppet says, the puppet just seems like the vengeful spirit, like the one you shouldn't have killed. If you actually look at the dialogue that the puppet says, Lefty says, Lefty literally is saying, it will be over soon. There is room for one more. Come spend eternity inside with me. I've been looking for you, and now I will never let you go. I will never let you go is literally word for word what the one you should not have killed said. And plus, the fact that it refers to as a he, which is the way that the puppet was referred to at first. I'm so glad I found you. Let me make room for you. The whole point of what Lefty is saying here is, hey, I'm going to trap you in eternity forever and torture you, right? It's the vengeful spirit. I know it doesn't make sense because why would that be? Something Nightmare on? Yeah, I mean, but it's like, okay. Very clearly the puppet has it out for William. That makes sense. We get the resolve for that in Fazbear Frights, but something ain't adding up here. Something's off. Because... Okay. He couldn't choose. He couldn't choose who to feed. But why? The puppet doesn't do that. The puppet doesn't consume souls. That would much more make sense as something like Baby, right? Who literally says, are these gifts? That's messed up. What's messed up? What part? The red snake was known threat. Henry did nothing about it. Nightmarion is the face of USCN. Charlie, vengeful spirit. I'm so hesitant to say it, but like, what if it's that easy? What if the puppet? Because like, if you think about it, who would have it out more for William than the puppet, right? I mean, the puppet literally went out of its way too many times to like organize William's demise, right? Happiest Day was entirely meant to free the spirits from the animatronics in order so that they could confront their killer, right? She literally followed him in FNAF 3. Charlie is also very angry in the movie, if we want to go there. I mean, yeah, I do want to go there, because I think that's really interesting. It's interesting because, like, it does seem like, here's the thing, like, the puppet, though, does say, like, she doesn't hate her killer, right? So she continues that. It's the parents that she hates. Or, aka, it's Henry. Henry is who she hates, it's not William. She doesn't even blame him, right? Which is so interesting. It's like... But then you get that switch, where very clearly, Lefty is out for William. It's there, it's all there, and even the phrasing is all similar to the vengeful spirit. But the voice isn't the same. So it's like, but I don't know. It's so interesting, because it like almost doesn't make sense, because it's like we see the face of the vengeful spirit, and I'm like, I don't think that's Charlie. Like, it's just interesting that they have similar dialogue. It is really weird if she doesn't hate William, why would she trap him? Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Really helped great, as if what he already done wasn't enough, he found a new way to desecrate, to humiliate, destroy. Things, small souls trapped in prisons of my own making, now set to purposes and used in ways I never thought imaginable. You lured them all back to a familiar place. But then one night I let bleed out. Love that it refers to that as a mugshot. It's funny. I guess being trapped in a bear made Charlie very angry. Yeah. Yeah. She's saying the same line that's from the movie as well when you're playing the game. That's part of when Vanessa is talking to Charlie. Yeah, I did catch that. Throw it back into Holly. Okay, let's look at this. There's another aspect here that is inspecting and salvaging an alley outside the back door. Don't know. It can mean a much needed revenue boost. That is... decrease the items. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything we really can find from there, but, is there any other snake motifs that we get anywhere else? Like, I'm trying to think, because looking at this, like, we've gotten a lot of pieces. 5 orphans, 5 children. 5... We have 5 children, 5 orphans, 5 kittens. Right, so it's like... vulnerable, right? So, like, the children are trapped. They're orphans, they don't have anyone, parents, but they do live in houses, they're safe to that extent, right? So... Then the red snake. Red snake? What the heck is the red snake? Or does it matter? The red snake was trapped in the cage. We found the hunger is unsatisfied. You can't satisfy the hunger. How hard is it to make a movie or game from what we're doing now? And they go to the past or present. I think Snake represents William. I mean, that would make sense, right? But in the context of what the story is saying, because, like, that's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the only thing I could think of, too. But, like, from the other's perspective, it doesn't make sense because, like, think about it, right? Henry is keeping the snake as a pet. This is something that clearly he loves. Because why would you keep something that you know is dangerous unless you have a reason for it, right? Enough to intentionally open the door. Like, all of this intentionally, he knew about the hunger. He knew that it would eat one of the kittens, and instead of doing anything, he left it up to chance, right? He just said, well, take one of them. He knew it was going to happen, but it was only until he was filled with regret that he went and dealt with the snake, and then pieced the kitten's remains together and put them in the shoebox again, right? So it's like, Henry didn't do any of that. Henry didn't do anything. He didn't do crap. So it's like, why would he open the door for the snake? He let the snake out intentionally. And then over 5 nights, right? 5 nights at Freddy's. So, but that does seem important, right? Over 5 nights. It took one of the 5 children. Each night it took a new one. Same thing you do with the salvage. What you're doing now is kind of like story in a way. I mean, it is. It is basically. I mean, it's an organization of a story that's already been told, I think, but it's more so analysis, you know? But it is fun. It is very fun. You could definitely use it for that, though, for, like, game planning. This might be out there, but didn't Henry help make the spring locks? That's something dangerous they still kept around, and we know it caused a death, or at least hurt people. That is true. But it is related to the MCI, right? Like, all of these are related to the MCI. Like, the 5 children are so clearly the MCI. But there's something else here, right? Because you have the burglar that the man knew about. The kind man knew the burglar was there. Man lived alone and in fear. He had a red snake that he kept in a metal cage. 5 baby kittens outside his house. Again, like, he found them outside of his house, outside in the alleyway, right? It's talking about the salvage. So he found the animatronics. He brought them in, the 5 children. He brought in Molten Freddy, right? But at this point, he already had the red snake. The red snake is separate from the 5 children, so it's separate from this. It could be William, because that is someone who's hungry, is unsatisfied. There's a theory that one of the kids died via Golden Freddy spring lots. Lots of themes of drowning in red water lakes. Who made the glam rocks in FNAF SB? I'm not quite sure. I don't think it ever really says. But that is an interesting question. But I'm not quite sure. I'm curious about something. Let's look at the FNAF 6. FNAF 6 dialogue. Okay. So I want to look at full lines. FNAF 6. FNAF 6 voice lines. Voice lines. There aren't too many of them. Well, that's not what I want. I want all the voice lines. FNAF 6. All voice lines. The Mimic, maybe? Oh no. They said it. The Mimic, I mean, I don't think the Mimic was around at this point, as far as, like, our understanding of the story. I don't know how we'd be able to catch on to that. But, like, maybe? It's possible, I guess, at this point. I'm trying to find all the dialogue. FNAF 6, all voice lines. Actually, you know what I'm thinking about? Thinking about it now. Duplicate. You have this. Resources. Launch. Character audio transcripts. FNAF 6. Okay. Tutorial unit. It does say it here. Okay. There's some. Oh yeah, here it is. You want them all to be in one place. Interesting. Hold on, I'm looking over this. Secret, it's just one ending and not mentioned anywhere else. Yeah. No, that is true. But they are in the books, to an extent. Okay, Henry, I think we already looked at those. We're looking for... Knock, knock, I'm here. Together again, one big happy family. That's interesting. Yeah, you were right about the tutorial unit, 100%. I knew it was a lie the moment I heard it, obviously, but it's intriguing nonetheless. I always come back. What fascinating what they have become. How can I resist a promise such as this? You may not recognize me. Ah. It's still me. Bittersweet but fitting. That was easier than I thought it would be. What a deceptive calling. I knew it was a lie the moment I heard it, obviously, but it's intriguing nonetheless. Did I catch you off guard? I heard your call. Feels like my birthday. Yeah, okay, I mean, all this is pretty much what I expected. Is this music from FNAF? It is indeed. It is a name I can't pronounce. It's Esoptrophobia, which is like the fear of mirrors. It's from Ultimate Custom Night. It's a very good song. I do like it a lot. It makes really great background music, actually. Okay. So, where does this leave us? Not too many places, honestly. Because, like, okay. Immediately my thoughts are, okay, red, baby. That would make the most sense. But... because it's like, it's weird. Why does it specify that it's a red snake? Right? Is that FNAF 6? No, it's Ultimate Custom Night. Which is technically, I guess, FNAF 6.5? Or, oh? It's an extension of FNAF 6, Ultimate Custom Night, right? Kind of a DLC. Nah, it's its own thing. Take the results. He cut open the snake and stitched the 5 kittens together. Put them in the shoebox. You know what's interesting, I will say? So, if we're talking about stitching 5 things together, right? Immediately my thought is, Okay, in the fourth closet, William does do that, right? He steals all of the animatronics from the junkyard. He takes them, he melts them all together, right? So he stitches them all together and extracts the remnant from them and infuses them into the fun times to allow the spirits to control them, right? So basically allowing them to become vessels. So there is that element, right? So you do have that common thread of the fourth closet, right? Where you have 5 things becoming one, where everything gets melted together. So that is William doing that, which in this context doesn't make sense, because in this one, it's not necessarily that the person who melts them together or ties them together is effectively what would be Henry, or the equivalent, right? Because it's like all of these is under the assumption that it is Henry. Is FNAF 6 has the... Yeah, it has the rock stars. It's the one that was the joke, had the joke facade of the being like a teaser game, but in reality was actually like a full-fledged game. That was fun. It is interesting that that is like the common motif. Okay. Isn't there dialogue? Maybe I'm wrong. It's just for us a gift. But they don't get it, right? I mean... Obviously, Mountain Freddy. It's interesting the knock at the door, right? So you have the knock at the door. Thanks for letting me join the party. I'll try not to disappoint. Knock, knock, I'm here. And what a pleasant surprise. Together again, one big happy family. Did they stop putting... I think that we already responded to that message, didn't we? And no, I don't think they necessarily did. But just not in the same way, I don't think. Right? I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting with this because I'm trying to think, like, what's the next step, right? Okay, I guess let's move on to the ruin one. We'll come back to that one if we need to, because I think there are some elements. Okay. So let's go to the ruin story. Okay. Now I will tell you a story. Because I don't know if they have dead kids in the Glam Rocks or the Rock Stars. So I don't think they do. I don't think that's what they are. I do think they're heavily infused with Remnant, but I don't think that's the same thing. The whole idea of Remnant is that it allows for things to become possible vessels for souls. It is not necessarily possession itself. So basically it's like, it's haunted material that's not necessarily haunted by spirits, but more so memory or emotions. Emotion tied to memory. It's like the whole idea that, like, your emotions leave impressions into the environment around you, and that it, like, creates kind of like a connection to the supernatural, or what would equivalently be the supernatural. So that's kind of what happens. That's why, like, the Glamrocks basically have, like, sentient personalities. Is because they are connected to, like, that neural network. Which is pretty interesting, in my opinion. Okay, I wanted to look at this. So this is obviously with the one about Cassie. But let's look at this. Okay, so I am a candy cadet. I don't think that's what it says. Come get your candy here. I have candy all day, every day. Oh, candy, candy, candy. Now I will tell you a story about a mother and a little boy who lived alone in a cabin in the dark woods. So immediately we have our subject. We have a mother. And then we have a son, a little boy, who lived alone in a cabin in the dark woods. There was a monster. So then we have our other subject, monster. Okay. So, but the mother caught it, kept it locked in the basement. So the mother caught the monster, kept it locked in the basement. Oh wait, I missed the... Okay, so the monster lived in the woods. There was a monster in the woods, but the mother caught it and kept it locked in the basement. The monster always made scary noises at the night, but the mother would tell the boy not to worry because it could never get out. Okay, so the monster made scary noises, but couldn't get out. Did they keep the same spirits from the kids in the earlier FNAF games? Technically they did, but it's in a different form, right? So, like, we don't really know, but we know that the memory, at least, of the MCI is still present, and it's being used by the entity or glitch trap. Because in Help 1 and 2, that's, like, made explicitly clear, where the memory of the MCI is bound to the entity, or the entity is bound to the memory of the MCI. So that event is very clearly embedded, and again, that goes back to the impression of the event of what happened is still very, very important and tied directly to a whole narrative, right? So, I mean, it's still there, just not in the same capacity. Like, I don't think the spirits are present. I don't think they need to be. It is interesting, though. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so she would sing the boy to sleep. The mother would sing a lullaby to the son. So you're telling me it's 50-50? I mean, yeah. I would say it's more just complicated. Like, it's, kind of is, kind of isn't, you know? So I guess, yeah, 50-50. Okay. Let's see. So the mother would sing the lullaby to the son. Scary nice. Then the mother. Does the story have to do with the Candy Cadet? I mean, that's what we're dealing with right now. That's just where we are. I mean, if you have a different thing to like analyze, we could easily do that. But for right now, I want to finish this at least. But maybe after we're done with that, we could move on to that. We'll see. Because it is getting quite late, and I don't know, my energy is starting to degrade, if you're noticing a little bit. Okay, so the monster stopped growling and listened to the song. But the mother would tell the boy not to worry because he could never get out. One day the monster stopped growling, listened to the song, and learned it. The next day when the mother went out to find food. Okay, so the mother there went out to find food. Anyone else find it interesting that story? Both. Wait, hold on. That's not what I meant to do at all. Anyone else find that interesting that story also links to this one? Because in this one it says a man lived alone, right? So it's right here. He left one day to buy food, his heart filled with gladness. Both of these times, the burglar came out whenever they went out to go get food. And maybe that's just a really small thing that doesn't really matter, but I find that an interesting link between them. Because it is also a Candy Cadet story. Like, you see here that the woman, the mother, let's see, where is it? When the mother went out to find food, the monster sang the lullaby from the basement. I don't know if that symbolically is tied, or I don't know. The monster sang the lullaby when the mother was gone. Okay. The boy heard the lullaby and opened the door. Interesting. So obviously this is very clearly meant to represent Cassie, right? I mean, we have all of that. So in Ruin, Cassie goes, she hears the voice, a familiar voice, the lullaby, she's lured there by the song, right? She gets there, the monster lures her to open the door for it, right, so that it can get out. Gregory obviously is not there anymore, so the mother went out to find food, right? That all matches. Except, okay, I don't think this is just about Cassie. I've talked about this before. So, there is very clearly an element of this that does not match up, and that is the monster itself. So, this monster is supposed to be representing M2. The funny thing about M2 is, though, if you've read the books or played the games, right, Secret of the Mimic, one of the things you'll realize is the characterization of M2 is very monster-like, right, in a certain aspect. I said before that I don't think M2 is a monster, but it's very important to recognize that, yes, M2 appears to be like a monster, and the fact that it is something that is huge, it's very big, it's monstrous, and it's very scary, right? It's very scary appearing. But it is not, in fact, a monster, right? That is something that the epilogues and Tales makes very, very clear, that the monster is not M2. M2 is something that is broken, that is following programming in a destructive way, right? It is not a monster, it has to receive human input in order for it to be the way that it is. And that's exactly what happened, right? Edwin had to input his agony into the animatronic in order for it to respond in that way. So it's not a monster, it's kind of, unfortunately, a bit of, a product of circumstance, right? It's going off of programming. It's mindlessly going off of what it's given, right? That's all it's doing. It's just repeating voice lines. That's all it does in Ruin. It just repeats voice lines. But, right, the whole idea of it luring you. Is Jackie one of the mimics? I mean, it's a costume. Jackie's just a costume that the Mimic uses. There is some symbolic importance, though, to Jackie that I think is rather interesting. But yeah. Okay. Alright, guys. Hold on. I know there's a lot of you guys here. Well, from what I can see. Actually, yeah. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I'm gonna end here. Because I'm getting tired. And I really want to get some sleep, so in the morning I can stream some more. So I'll probably do a morning stream in the morning, and then we'll finish this out. This was really fun. I really enjoyed this. I want to sleep on this. On all of this stuff. Because there's something here that I think we're hitting, but I cannot for the life of me. I want to talk to some people about this. Because I think this is interesting. And I need some thoughts. Who was the very first Mimic? We'll save that for a different stream. Because it is... I've been going for almost 3 hours. And it's almost 1 o'clock in my country. So I'm tired. Thank you guys for all of your guys' support. You guys are amazing. And I'll see you guys next time. Because I'm out of here, dude. See you guys. Hope you guys have a good night.